In this video, we are going to be looking at shapes and the shape tools in Figma. On the toolbar, you'll find the shape tool next to the frame tool. You can click on this drop down to see all the list of available shape tools in Figma and the keyboard shortcut in front of them. We have the rectangle tool, we have the line, we have the arrow, we have the ellipse, we have the polygon, we have tar, and we have image video. The function of the image video is to import images and videos into your project. Now, how do you draw a shape? You select any of the shape tool. Let's select rectangle. All you just have to do is click and drag, and you drop. To draw a perfect, select the shape tool again, hold shift and drag. And to draw your shape from the center outward, while holding shift, click on option on Mac or alt on PC, and you drag. Now you have a perfect square. When you select your rectangle shape, say this square, you will see all these smaller circles around the edges. This basically control the corner radius. I can click on one and drag them inward, and you can as well adjust the corner radius from your properties panel and change this to 10. Now let's select the ellipse tool and draw an ellipse. You can draw an ellipse like this. And to draw a perfect circle with the ellipse tool, we hold shift and drag. Now when you hover over this circle, you have this small circle controls the arc. I can draw this, and once I draw, I have two other circles here. This controls the ratio, and this controls the stats. Also, I can adjust this on the properties panel. I can change this to 80. I can change this to 20. So let's return this back to our circle. I'll just put this to 100 and put this to 0. Let's go back to our shape tool and select polygon. I'll hold shift and drag so I have a perfect polygon. Now this is a perfect triangle. When I hover over this, I have two smaller circles, one here and one here. This controls the corner radius. I can click on this and increase the corner radius, and this controls the count. So this count simply means the number of sides our polygon is having. Currently we have 3, which is triangle. I can increase it to 4. I can increase this to 5. This is a pentagon, and I can increase this all the way to 10, 14, 18, 20 as I want it. Let's reduce this back to say 5. And I can also control the count with my properties panel. I can increase this to 10, and I can increase the corner radius if I want. Let's go to our start tool. I'll select the start tool here. I'll hold shift and draw a perfect star. Now also, when you hover over this, you have 3 smaller circles here. This controls the corner radius, this controls the ratio, and this controls the count. Like every other shapes, you can control this on the properties panel. So we have the count. I can change this to say 6, and I can change this to say 60, depending on how I want it. Now let's draw a line. I'll click on my line tool, and I'll start from any point, click and drag. I can draw it like this. And I can also select the tool again, hold shift and drag. So when you hold shift and you try to draw a line, it snaps to angle 90, angle 45, 180, 0, and the likes. I'll leave this as this. So when you draw a line, it basically sees it as a stroke. Now you see our stroke white, and you can increase the width of your stroke, you can control the positioning, you can set the edges. So currently, if you look at the edges of this line, you can see it's kind of like flat. You can switch that to round, you can switch that to square, and you can select the starting edge to be a circle, and the other edge to be an arrow, just like this. And you can go to the advanced stroke setting and you can change this to dash. You can control the dash. And another thing you can do is you can adjust the length of this line. I can drag it like this longer, and the same thing for other shapes too. I can adjust this. I can drag this to the side. I can drag it to the side, and I can control the width and height of this shape in the properties panel as well. Maybe for this square, I can change this to 100 and change the height to 100 as well. Now let's talk about adding stroke to other shapes. Let me drag this guy here and change the fill to maybe something like this. To add stroke, I'll click on this add stroke button here. Now it has given our stroke a black stroke. You might not really see it. Let's change this to white. And let's increase our stroke width to 4. Now we can see our stroke very well. Now let me explain something. When you click on your shape, you see this blue line. That's the boundary of your rectangle. And now this here, this is the position of your stroke. When you click on center, it places your stroke at the center of the boundary. So what does that mean? We have 4 pixels stroke width. Now what it means is 2 pixels of the stroke is outside the boundary and 2 pixels of that same stroke is inside the boundary. Now if we change this to inside, that means all the 4 pixels of the stroke is inside your rectangle boundary, and if you select outside, it means all the 4 pixels width of your stroke is outside boundary. Now we can go to advanced settings and you can switch between dynamics to brush. Let's go back to basic, and you can control the join. This is currently a sharp edge join. You can change it to round. Let's go back to sharp edge, and you can switch between solid to dash. All right, you can control the dash length, and you can adjust the gap between those dash, and you can change the dash cap. You can switch to this. Well, let's go back to solid. Now another thing you can do with stroke is you can control the individual stroke. Let's click on this icon. You see all. This basically means add the stroke to all the sides. You can select top, so you add just the stroke to the top. You can select bottom, so you add the stroke only to the bottom. And you can click on custom. So let's say I want to add 8 pixels to the left, 8 pixels to the top, 8 pixels to the right, and 40 pixels to the bottom. Now this looks like all those our Polaroid pictures outside, and you can as well see adjust the width and height of your shapes. And another thing you can do is you can toggle on and off your fill and stroke depending on how you want it. So let's select this guy. So this is our stroke. We can hide it and we can bring it back. Same thing for our fill. We can hide it and we can bring it back. And you see this remove icon here is just for you to totally remove that stroke. When I click on it, it removes it. I will undo that by clicking on Command Z or Control Z. And the same thing, you can remove the fill as well. Let's undo that. The last thing we need to explore here is our image video tool. Now let's see how this works. When you click on your image video, it opens your folder, your file manager, your finder for you. Then you can import any image or video that you want. Let's click on this image here and click open. Now it's giving you the option to select or to drag how big you want the image to be. I can drag this way. Now we have our image here. Another way to bring videos and images into your project is just by going to your folder, select image, and drag into your project. All you just have to do, select the edge, hold shift, hold option, and drag inward. That's it. So guys, this is the long and short of shapes. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.